It's the 260 Podcast, live from Speed's Fieldhouse every Thursday at 7 p.m., highlighting all Indiana sports, featuring guests from the 260 area code and beyond. Live on YouTube every Thursday at 7 p.m. Just search the 260, also available anywhere you find your podcasts. And remember, when searching, there are no zeros in the 260. It's the 260 Podcast, live from Speed's Fieldhouse every Thursday at 7 p.m.
It feels like we're taking the crown. It feels like we were born to be champions. We were born to be champions. We were born to have a name in the lights, 'cause we're taking a ride to the top, to the top. Born to be champions. We were born to be champions.
Night, so I'll do it for us. Yes, we are the 260. So Matt's here with us. We have our future guest, Brice Bennett, head coach of Blackhawk Christian. Can't wait to hear all the stories and everything they go through, but I want to talk about what we did this past weekend, where we did the remote at Charger Youth Football and Cheer. That was just nuts, Sonar, don't you think?
Absolutely. It was a fun time.
Well,
It was a jamboree, if you will.
I'll tell you guys, I wasn't there, but the production you guys put on the other day was fabulous.
Thank you.
And you talk about, you hit every level, from the board members to the coaches to the kids to the cheerleading, and you could see just the excitement of everybody involved. And kids out there running behind the camera trying to get on, but at the same time, the kids that you interviewed, they talked about their passion for whether it was cheerleading or whether it was football, and the coaches coming on there, and just Brian and what he's done out there. You guys it was a great show.
We physically had to end the show because there's kids.
Oh yeah,
they didn't
kept
want
rolling.
to stop.
They
Man.
kept rolling.
Yeah. They kept saying, "Can I get on? Can I get on?" Joe kept saying yes. I'd say no, but no. I mean, 266 kids, 80 cheerleaders. And they have to cap the cheerleading because it would take over the numbers because they don't have coaches.
Oh, I bet. And they had a cheerleading squad on each end of the field. They had kids everywhere.
So don't you feel it was like an event? Man.
It was an event. It was a jamboree. It was a whole community coming together. That's what the best part of it about.
And we've talked about this before, but I live out in that area, and it's a separate community out there. It really is. The support on Friday nights for football is amazing. It really is.
You've always said it's an event.
And for me to be a Northrop guy, and to slide in there with my Northrop gear, but still being able to support my daughters. They were both cheerleaders at Carroll High School, and my son-in-law is a defensive backs coach there at Carroll now, and so it's an event every Friday.
I didn't know I was going to be here for it, and so I didn't pack anything. So I went to the store to go get a shirt, and I'm like, I don't know if I can buy this Northrop T-shirt at all.
Come on!
If I do that, they're just going to throw me out.
Man, I tell you, sometimes at night during the fair, 4-H fair, you're going down Carroll, and then you just see this explosion of cars. Well, Saturday, I'm at Union Chapel in Coldwater, and I look over at that parking lot, and I'm like, oh, my.
Yeah.
It was packed.
It was full. Dave and I went the day before. We went Friday, right?
Yep.
Empty, and I'm like, this place is huge.
Yeah.
This is you got to.
He thought it was a high school, man.
Yeah, it looks like a high school.
And they're going to add another middle school the same size here.
And then I get over there Saturday, and I can't find parking anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm only 45 minutes after the event has started.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was amazing, and I'm glad we did it. Once again, thank you, Brian, for asking us to do it. Brian Nix. It was fun, Matt.
Sure. No, I mean, you could just tell the excitement all the way around. I mean, again, it's a great community, and it's only going to continue to thrive and get bigger and better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
It's because of the support behind it.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
they've got a strong foundation, and now they can build up with
Absolutely.
it.
What was it? Like 13 board members.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and they need more.
year-round.
They need more, man.
Yep.
These guys do a yeoman's
all
effort.
volunteers as well.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
volunteers.
Nobody gets paid.
Right.
So, I just wanted to bring that up. It was awesome.
It was fun.
Yeah, you guys did a great job.
I
It was
appreciate that. Matt, you brought up last week on current events that we didn't mention Mr. Comet.
awesome. Yeah.
I want you to talk about that.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, Eddie Long passed away. Mr. Comet. What a tremendous gentleman. I mean, an
You was very
ambassador.
close with the man.
Yeah, I was. I got the opportunity through his son Brady to meet Eddie years ago, and me being a big Comet hockey fan and Eddie being Mr. Comet, it was such a unique relationship because a lot of people don't know, but he was a hell of a baseball player.
Really?
He was one of the better. He kind of had to make that decision. Should I go baseball or should I go hockey?
They all do.
And being from Canada, he decided he went the hockey route, and obviously was the.
What was it, 14 years with the Comets?
Yeah, I believe so. But that was back in the day when you only had 6 NHL teams. So, but our
Tempers flare there when you're seeing the same face all the time.
Yeah. But the conversations we had were always, they were great conversations about the competitiveness and the desire to play athletics, sports, whether it was hockey, baseball, whatever it may be, coaching. I mean, I as he got, in his later years, he was staying at St. Anne's, and I would sneak over there every once in a while and go see him. And I remember Brady telling me a lot. He said, he still gets after it when it comes to bingo. He wants to win every bingo game. I mean, that's just the personality of Eddie Long, and got to go to a hockey game this year with him and sit down there rinkside, at the I believe almost at the end of the season, and it's sad, and a happy time all at the same time. And I can
stop and think about it. He was still going to the games, man.
Oh, absolutely. And they were letting him in the locker room. He would talk to the players.
Yeah.
The Frankies really did a great job of letting him come in and just talk about, hockey and what he sees from his perspective of things. And, it's hard for him because as an old school hockey guy, and new school, there's some friends here and there.
Yeah.
When he played, he didn't have friends. I mean, he went after it, and went against people. But when I went to the viewing,
like you said, you went pretty late in season.
yeah,
How did this escalate so fast?
just he was really just a illness that kind of took over. It was, I don't know that it was like a pneumonia or something like that, but he just started to wear and tear.
Wear
But
down.
when I went to the funeral, one thing that the family requested is that you either wear your favorite hockey jersey.
Oh, that's right. You said that.
Or you wear something in orange and black, and it was amazing the number of 16 Eddie Long jerseys, the old spaceman that were there. They were there. It was cool.
Tell him what the son said.
He said it was a fake funeral just to see who would show up. And that's Brady. Brady's a joker, and he's a great guy. I've had a great relationship with him for over 25 years, and that's Brady and that's Eddie. I mean, but again, it was a unique perspective to have that relationship with him, and just. Again, he was so fun to talk to because he was so energetic and so full of life, and just he loved the game of hockey. And not only a great ambassador for Comet hockey, but a great ambassador for the city of Fort Wayne. I mean, we talk about this. We talked about it at the beginning with Coach Boudreau. Is that a lot of these guys hang around here? They stay. They make families. They love
living here. I'll tell you this, Anthony Petruzzelli.
Yeah.
He ain't selling his house.
Yeah.
He's coming back.
Yeah. So
he's over in England right now, but they're actually just probably renting it out to the Comets or somebody like that.
Yeah.
But he's coming back.
Yeah. But rest in peace, Eddie. He was a great man.
I'm glad we did that homage to him because I knew he was very close with you.
Yeah.
The Ethan Salas kid.
Yes.
I'm actually hoping to get down there this weekend to see him play.
I wanted to go down last night, didn't get a chance.
He's already, they're playing him because he's got 25 at-bats already.
They're going to keep feeding him feeding him out there, and like Mike Nutter said last week, don't expect him to be around
here long.
And that's the great thing about
I would say he's probably going to finish the season here.
Yeah, but
he ain't coming back in the spring.
No, but it's exciting. I mean, it gives.
Can you imagine 17 years old?
And at 17, I was playing high school baseball.
By the way,
I wasn't nowhere near that kind of talent.
He has 9 total home runs. He doesn't have any with Fort Wayne with 10 caps yet, but he has 9 total this summer, this season. Mm-hmm. So you're 17 facing 22, 21, 22-year-olds.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're winning.
Yeah, you're winning the battle, and obviously, I mean, they saw the talent. I mean, they went down in that Dominican, camp, and they, obviously signed him.
It's interesting to hear Mike say that. He's from Kissimmee, Florida.
Yeah.
But they sent him back down there.
Yeah.
That shows how powerful those schools are.
Well, not only that, but the parents, having the, being able to guide him through all that, and then to be a bilingual catcher. That's just a big bonus, and he's I hope I get a chance to go down there and watch him because I think it's again, you see a talent like that, they don't come through here too often.
No, it's very.
It's like I said with Trey Turner. When Trey Turner was here, when he was in the Padres organization, you could just tell. I mean, he came right from North Carolina State.
Yeah.
He probably played a couple weeks in A ball and went right up to the 10 caps, and he wasn't here long.
No.
I mean, that's the kind of talent you see.
No, like I said, I assume him to be here the rest of the season. So I hope everybody can get out and see the kid.
Sure.
And you use the term kid loosely, and he is a
kid.
And
get down there and obviously support the 10 caps.
Yep.
I mean, Mike Nutter.
God, what a great show that was with Mike.
He's something else, man.
I didn't know he was that funny.
Yeah, he's a character, and he's it was good to have him on. He's energetic, but he loves his job, and he's done such a great job with the Fort Wayne.
And he loves Fort Wayne.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sonar even brought it up. He goes, "You guys have never laughed that much on a show."
Oh no, I mean he's something else.
What do you think about our U.S. women's soccer team, Matt?
Well, I got a lot of thoughts. Probably disgusted is the biggest thought I've had because when you play,
I feel it's karma.
Yeah, it is. But here's where I kind of been, as a young guy growing up, and amateurs were always, the people who represented the United States and represented it with class and dignity, and were really wanting to be there. And obviously the pro prospect of things with being paid, plays a big part of it now. The dream team had to come in when we lost as amateurs, in basketball, and it's kind of gone that way ever since. And, I disappointed with the attitude, disappointed with the you can't put your hand over your heart for your national anthem when every other country
does.
They're belting it out of their
proud.
mouth as loud as they can do. And I give a lot of credit to Carly Lloyd, who played, previously for the national team. She blasted them a little bit for attitudes and the way they went about things. And you're right. Karma does strike back.
Coach Brice, served in our,
Absolutely.
United States Army.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of people that's given their lives for this country, and you cannot put your hand over your heart.
Yeah, it's disappointing. It's truly disappointing, and I think here's what's even sadder than that is that I think people were happy they got beat.
Yes, I mean that
and that's
all
sad.
over Twitter.
That's sad.
All you saw is people happy.
Yeah,
because they were that, using your word, disgusted.
Yeah.
With that team.
And that's a sad state of mind.
Yeah.
You can't have a country where you should be disappointed in your team, but and happy that they're losing. But I really believe that there's a lot of people out there that were happy.
Yeah. Big weekend for you.
Stav Ready Scholarship Golf Outing, Stav Ready Scramble.
Weather's going to be nice.
Weather's going to be nice. This is year 15 already, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I think that we've had this golf outing now for 15 years. And Riverbend Golf Course, 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. And we have 102 golfers signed up for the event. It's a great day to go out and raise money for the scholarship.
Explain what the scholarship does.
So the scholarship we created was a name in honor of our former coach, Chris Stavretti. We decided when we first started, it was a $1,000 scholarship to a senior.
Explain what they have to go through to get that.
So they have to. I mean, this is not just being a good baseball player. This is academics. This is extracurriculars. This is you got to get references. You have to go through a 3-person panel on an interview.
Grades.
Grades. I mean, you got to have a certain grade point average, and so it's a pretty strict set of rules that we have for this scholarship, and it's great to see. We've had multiple winners some years. Some years we haven't had any winners because they didn't live up to the standards of the scholarship. But a lot of the young men that have gained, and won the scholarship have gone on to do great things, and that's always something we're really proud of. But give a lot of credit to Scott Gidley. He played on the 1972 baseball team. He was the one that kind of created the scholarship, and then we had
him and Walter
committee.
Are close.
Yes, absolutely. And we went and, we had some meetings and started a committee, and, it's grown, and we've got some people involved that are past scholarship winners now. So it's kind of cool to see those guys, the young guys, take the torch from us, because we're not going to be able to do this forever. But, we've raised.
I always enjoyed this, what you say about old Ben Yost.
Oh yeah, he's a classic. He's a classic. He's on our board of directors
already
now,
on the board of directors.
Yeah, and we knew that. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. But it's fun.
24-year-old kid on the board of directors.
Yeah, and he's again. Those guys got to carry the torch for us at some point. We today delivered a 4,000 pound stone with Coach Stavretti's accomplishments to the field.
Okay.
And that was part of our fundraising, for in memory of him.
Where's that at?
It's going to be right outside the new press box locker rooms on the third base side. It's already
right there
out
in concession, so everybody can see it.
It's already there. So it was delivered today. I'm hoping to get a chance to go out there tomorrow and take a look at it. But yeah, I mean the scholarship is now it's up to $2,000. We changed it about 4 or 5 years ago. And it's good. It's nice to help people, move on and help them with their education. Obviously, it's great playing baseball at Northrop High School, but there's a lot more things that we can do to help kids out, and that's what we try to do.
Okay. Yep. We can't wait. Looking forward to it Saturday.
Yeah, should be a good day.
Wish it was in the afternoon instead of 8 o'clock in the freaking morning.
Hey man, we got to do those things. Get you up, get you breakfast, and get you rolling, man.
Damn.
You'll be all right.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and ruin it for me. talk about Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks this week was kind of, every week they kind of build and get a little quicker and a little more information coming out. But they had a mentalist come in. I can't think of the guy's name, but he came in and he was amazing. These guys, so he had a guy come up and wanted him to think of a new number that he wanted to play with the number. And he had the guy turn around, and he wrote the number on a board, and all the guys are up in the stands, and he puts the number up on the guy's back, and he goes, "What's your new number?" He goes, "Number 10." And that place just went crazy.
I've seen some things like that before.
He turned it around to the guy, and the guy just went running off. He's like, but they did it. They did something with Aaron Rodgers too, where they, it was like a card trick, and it ended up a card trick with one of his coaches trying to pick out a certain animal, or or mascot or animal of that, and ends up it was a goldfish, and the goldfish ends up in Aaron Rodgers' hands as he
no kidding
pulls out the card that he had said was 3 of diamonds. So yeah, it was pretty good. But this
you
episode,
said there's some stuff about Big Joe.
Yeah, Big Joe had the rookie camp. Or the rookies had to do their kind of skit or whatever, and every rookie got booed off the stage. Every rookie got stuff thrown at him, but he got a little play time there. He was up there with a tight end, and so it was kind of cool to see him. And then,
like I said, I've been following a lot of Jets on Instagram, all their feeds, and both weeks that they had games, he's in the second quarter.
Yes,
and I actually was texting with him Tuesday night, but there's like 3 touchdowns he's involved in.
Yes, absolutely.
And then yesterday, Aaron was talking about him.
Okay.
Because they actually said that they moved him to guard, and he goes, it's not fair because that hasn't had the reps there.
Sure.
But obviously, they're trying to find a spot.
They're trying to find a spot for him. There's no doubt. The good thing this week was a little bit more scraps in camp. There was some
started to get heated.
Offense, defense. They're getting a little tired of hitting each other, so they started getting after it a little bit. So, it was a good
Looks
episode.
like Aaron's getting along with everybody.
Oh, he loves it there. I mean, he absolutely loves it there. I think whether you like him or you don't like him, the guy can play. He can still spin the ball. He sees the field like no other.
I saw one of the clips. They're just all in awe of his no look passes.
Yeah,
and they slow it down. He ain't looking where he's throwing.
Right, and he's been he's been a big influence on that team. I mean, their confidence level is huge because they feel like they can do some things.
One of the things we didn't get to talk about last week also was the Netflix series Quarterbacks. Have you seen that?
I've seen parts of it.
I tell you, here's 2 things I take away. A, Patrick Mahomes is amazing.
He's the real deal.
He really is amazing. I tried to fight it with him, but you can't. The kid is like when I finally had to give in to Brady.
Well, I think you got to look at his background too. I mean, his dad, Senior, was a pitcher in the Toronto Blue Jays organization. He grew up in major league clubhouses.
Yeah.
So he had the maturity level, and
didn't he do 17 years?
Yeah, I believe so. But here's where you give the kid credit: is he sat behind Alex Smith for a year.
Yep.
Didn't complain, learned, kept just grinding away. When it was his time, I mean, he's amazing. He truly is. Yeah. And, you got to give all those. I mean, Kirk Cousins, the
thing about the second thing I was going to say, Kirk Cousins takes an ass whooping every week.
Yeah,
and he's getting hit in the same spot. And it sounds that he made.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I remember always listening to Dan Patrick's show, and he would always say, if you're on the sidelines down there live, he goes, it's a train wreck. He goes,
I remember that episode.
The collision is a train wreck. I mean, it really is.
Sounds like a train wreck every single time.
Yeah, and you think about, I just look at these quarterbacks and just like Mariota with his wife going over the plays with him. You know, I mean, that the mental part of this,
you see why they get paid what they do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they are the
you see why it is quarterbacks league,
top of the line. I mean,
because years ago, I got bucked off a horse, and my lovely wife was actually videoing it and laughing, but I landed on my coccyx. And I'm on my hands and knees, and the sounds that are coming out of my body, and I mean, I just look over my wife. There's my kids, and they're just sitting there laughing, videoing it. The pain, and it just every time I'd hear Cousins,
and
I'm like, oh,
that's what
man.
you felt. Yeah, you can relate.
But no, I thought the quarterbacks was really good. I thought they did a nice job. I like how they, unlike the golf one where it was week, two different ones. I like how they stayed with them the whole season.
Yeah. How about quarterbacks? The Colts named Anthony Richardson.
They did.
Yeah, he's going to be their starting quarterback. I know you're not big on it. I know Joe's not big on it. I am. I think it's you know what? This franchise needs to go in a different direction, and I just think you got to throw them out there, and you got to take the lumps as you go, and take the good and the bad. I mean, you look at his game the other day, and he was. He throws that interception, and it wasn't great, but he came back. He had some poise. He threw some pretty nice passes.
I will say this about the kid: he is trying to get involved with the community.
Absolutely, and he's got
They had to come physically take him away.
I saw that
because kept signing autographs.
Yeah, I just
damn near give him his whole uniform.
Yeah, I just think at the end, hopefully at the end of the day it works out. I mean, at some point, and obviously we're big Colts fans, and it's been a little bit of a dry spell ever since Luck retired. It's just been a revolving door, and it's been depressing at times at the way they play, and it's time to get this thing back on track. And they've got some parts, but again, you got to get that running back in camp, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do that or not.
This reminds me of the whole old Eric Dickerson deal.
Yeah,
this is what it all reminds me of. He ain't going to be here.
Yeah.
Lastly, you talk about organizations that need a complete flip. The Yankees are 14 games out of first place. We're August 17th.
Yep.
First time in 30 years.
Yep.
They're not going to make the playoffs.
Yep.
They have to get rid of, I'm saying at the top, they got to get rid of Cashman and start all over.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a shakeup. I mean, you can't be the New York Yankees and continue to go about things and not win world championships.
No.
I mean, that's
the world needs Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it's almost the same. They're on the same path as the Cowboys, where the Dallas Cowboys haven't won forever, and then you look at the Yankees and they're starting to go into that slide, and those are two of the iconic franchises in sports. And I'm depressed. I mean, my Cardinals, they've had a terrible year, and I think they'll get things ironed out. But the Yankees need to probably clean house, and when you've been there too long, it's time to go.
I don't know, Bob Hamilton.
Yeah.
He always says Cashman has something on Steinbrenner.
Yeah, he might, but again, when you've been there too long, it's time to move on. It's time to do something else, and it's time for them to go a different direction. And part of that too is they don't have the greatest of contracts. I mean, the Stanton thing was never. I still don't think that was a good contract when they got him from the Marlins.
No,
and
they did Marlins a favor.
Yeah, and so I think again it all comes down to pitching. If you don't have pitching, you're not going to be around. And you look at the Braves, and they just keep retooling.
And they always have pitching.
Their pitching staff's always solid. Yep.
Well, we're getting ready for Friday Night Lights, and we're going to take a little break. And our next guest is Brice Bennett, head coach of Blackhawk Christian. And as of right now, he has 830 views.
There you go.
On Twitter.
There you go.
So people want to hear his story.
That's right.
All right, so now we're going to take a little break and come back with Brice.
It's the 260 Podcast, live from Spees Fieldhouse every Thursday at 7 p.m., highlighting all Indiana sports, featuring guests from the 260 area code and beyond. Live on YouTube every Thursday at 7 p.m. Just search the 260, also available anywhere you find your podcasts. And remember, when searching, there are no zeros in the 260. It's the 260 Podcast, live from Spees Fieldhouse every Thursday at 7 p.m.
Okay, welcome back. Once again, I want to say thank you to Sonar for all he does and what he did this past weekend. I wanted to make
You're
sure,
welcome, buddy.
I'm very thankful.
We do it for the kids, right?
Yep.
Isn't that what we do it all for?
And I keep saying head football coach, but I forget to add Reverend in there. So, Coach, the main thing I wanted you to come on the show is to tell us, how it started last year, how Blackhawk got to the point, and to where we are right there at this point. So go ahead and tell us how Blackhawk got in their heads to play football when they're a basketball powerhouse.
Well, I know that the conversation happened before COVID.
Oh, really?
With
That early?
the 8-man program coming up in Indiana. But COVID obviously put a halt on all that happening. So I think the major teams that were a part of that was Waldron down there off of 70 and us. Then once that got put on hold, I was working, just down in Monroe at the church at the Lighthouse in Monroe, and I just happened to be looking at job openings there at Blackhawk. They were looking for a Bible teacher, and I just happened to scroll down and saw head football coach.
Okay.
And I'm like,
You got my interest.
Blackhawk has a football team. And so I originally applied to be a teacher, and when I walked into the interview, they I asked about the head football coach job, and they told me about the 8-man program, how they're starting off brand new, and that absolutely intrigued me. I was coaching at Belmont Middle School, and I had a blast doing that. My boys played there, and just kind of got the ball rolling a little bit, and they told me about how a lot of the families there, a lot of the kids were looking forward to having an opportunity to play football. There were several students that were Blackhawk students that ended up going to different schools because of football.
Sure.
So, they were wanting to kind of give that realm to the new, the kids that didn't have a home in an athletic, position there. So, we got started. Summer practices started up, and I think I had maybe 5 or 6 kids that showed up to the first practice in the summer. And, I went to, Joel, and I was like, hey, do we have enough kids at the school to play football? And he said, hey, they'll come. And he was right. They ended up started coming through. And
because with Blackhawk, at summertime, their baseball program is really good. So you're fighting travel baseball.
Right. And so, I didn't get a chance to really get to know some of the kids before school got out because I hadn't started teaching yet. So I think by the time we had our team picture, there was maybe 12 of them in the team picture. So, but once school started, we ended up kind of jumping all the way up to 25 kids. And the cool part about it was 75% of the team didn't play a single sport at Blackhawk. So it really was that opportunity for those guys to come out and make a name for themselves.
Did you feel like you had to recruit?
Oh yeah.
I get that, but
Definitely.
So
You gotta
it was
be in the
definitely
hallways.
recruited,
Oh
yes.
yeah. Well, walking the hallways and seeing some of the big guys that are walking through there, and obviously you look at the basketball team from last
Sure.
year, you're just salivating.
Kellen,
And-
think if you had Kellen Pickett,
Oh, my
Pickett
gosh.
as a wide
Yeah,
receiver.
it'd be all right.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about Kellen. I'm thinking about Josh and Dave, Jimmy and,
Yeah.
and
Because they do
Gage.
look like,
athletic,
they,
yeah, they're
they look
athletic
like football
kids.
players.
Yeah.
They were.
They're built.
Could you imagine Gage being a running back?
Yeah.
that would have been a sight to see. 6'4", and he's just barreling through, it would have been fun to watch. So, and we still have a lot of those basketball players that I'm just looking at, I'm like, oh, come on, just try
give
me
me a
out.
chance.
Just try me out a little bit.
So tonight's our promo for we're going to get some of these to be multi-sport players.
Oh, but they're fantastic kids. I mean, I love them. All the players, all the athletes. Walking these halls has just been a breath of fresh air. Just being new to Blackhawk and just getting to know the culture. I mean, it's night and day, and it's just been, a real joy for me to, get to know these kids, and whether they are specializing in sports or if they're playing multiple sports, they're all great. And so, I mean, basketball nights are awesome.
Yeah.
And but we want to make football nights awesome too.
You want to make your own input.
Yeah, so we've got 2 home games this year, and going back to last year, we were able to pull off playing there on the soccer field, and I think they had a really great time, and just kind of see that environment and what could be, from Blackhawks fan base for playing football. It was pretty awesome.
Nice.
It was really nice, but this year was a reload. We lost 6 seniors last year out of 25 players, and we were kind of hoping on 19 returning.
Yeah.
And, we had a lot of interest all through school last year, and I think, kind of on that rough list that I had about 45 kids that said they were wanting to play. But, man, as soon as we started getting down into the summer coming up and things like that, it just kept dwindling and dwindling.
Well, when I called you last week and Matt heard the phone call, I've always had in my head that, the Snyder kid that's the 3rd string, 4th string, he's going to say, no, screw it, I'm going over to Blackhawk. Mm-hmm. You say that's not possible because you are capped.
We are full.
300, capped. 300 kids, right?
Yep, we're capped at 75 kids per class, and our senior class right now is the only class left that doesn't have 75. So as soon as they graduate this year, you got
another 75 coming in.
Yep, we're full. So what our team is they're already at the school. So it's going to be, just kind of some moving forward.
Man, Blackhawk needs to add on.
There you go.
Expansion.
There you go.
Well, if you figure out how to go to a 6-story building, I don't see how expansion's going to happen.
I always thought you had that property in the back you guys could go to.
We do, but that's all of our practice fields. If we give up those, then
you're screwed.
We're out of practice fields. So.
As you move, I mean, obviously, you've got a plan. What's the vision of where you want to be at the end of this year, 5 years down the road? I mean, I guess as a head coach, I always had this plan of, hey, this is going to be, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. And obviously, you always want to win championships. I mean, we understand that, but where do you want to be?
I honestly, for me, it's not necessarily the winning and the losing. Football is such a, I love football.
Sure.
And the reason why I love it is because you can have any type of kid come and play. There's always a slot for someone. To be on a basketball team, you got to be a certain height. You have to have a certain skill set. To be a soccer player, you have to be able to kick a ball. Baseball, you have to be extremely gifted at certain things. But for football, you can be the biggest guy in the room and be the best offensive lineman, but you would be a terrible running back. And then you got these small guys that are just fast.
Right.
Yep.
And it's so cohesive that my goal is to hopefully get to a point where I would love to see every male student, and if any females want to come out to play, I want to see them in a sport, because when you see some of these guys just not doing anything, they're just going home, they're hopping on video games and the computers and their phones mostly. We got to get them exercising, and I just want to build a culture of they can go and perform and show what they can do on a field. And obviously it starts at the younger levels, and we've been working really closely, especially this year with PAL. We were hoping to kind of get a full Blackhawk team going with the 4th through 6th graders. We really want to build that up, but we had an awesome opportunity for the 49ers that has been practicing at Shawnee, and now they're practicing
they've been
at
there for years.
Yeah, they have been awesome coming in. I've actually been able to see some of the coaches, and they've been doing an amazing job. Those kids are all in for it. They're having fun. They come in right after we practice, and it's been I remember my boys were that age and watching them
Right,
go
right.
through practice, and so they're having a great time. That's what I want to see. I want to see those guys have joy to just play a sport. So that's really, for the next 5 years, that's kind of where we're at. And if winning comes along with that, that's great.
Right.
But I want them to have
Because
that,
last year
just
you
that
actually did
experience.
have a good season.
We sure did. And, just looking at
First
it,
inaugural season. I mean,
Right.
what was your record?
we were 6-3.
Yeah.
We definitely took our licking the first week, and it was a wake-up call for our guys.
Matt, we've been talking about this for 2-3 weeks now, and I'm like, damn, they're going to be playing Adams Central, man. And Matt, tell the story about Coach D.
Well, Coach Donnelly and I, we're good friends, and he lived next door to me when he was at he's still at University of St. Francis, and when he started the program there, I mean, they took some whoopings. I mean, they, the 70 to 7, sevens, and being shut out a lot, and when he was playing Tri-State one time, he got pounced, and he just told him, he goes, we'll be back, and payback's going to come right back around, and obviously the program that he's put together, and again, it's a process. It's just like anything else. It takes time, it takes the effort, it takes the support. You've got to have all those things going in the right direction in order for things to take off. And once that did, I mean, 2 national championships
later,
and many appearances in the championship game. So again,
didn't IWU take some heat because they went the reverse route of St. Francis?
They did. Well, they did a little bit. They played a lesser schedule to kind of build things up, and
it worked
both
out.
ways have worked tremendously, but being in Brice's position, I mean, there's I'm obviously, I mean, you can tell probably in practice there's your good days and your bad days. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's high school sports, and you're trying to build a culture and build a program, and there's almost a sense of accomplishment some days, I'm sure, where you're just like, oh man, if it hit home today,
Well, in that first game last year, we got through halftime and we hadn't scored. We just got absolutely handed it to us.
Yeah.
And I just kind of told them, like, guys, just go score a touchdown. Just get one.
Yeah.
Experience that. And they did. I think we scored in the last drive of the game. And it flipped a switch.
Yeah.
And that next week of practice, everything was different.
Sure.
There was a sense of urgency. There was a sense of, we don't want to feel that way again.
We want to
And
feel this way.
we want to feel this way,
Right.
and that rattled off, I think, four or five straight wins. And it wasn't just kind of back and forth wins. It was blowout wins, and that actually kind of hurt us, I think, in the long run, because we ended up having some injuries, and I think we went 1-2 the last 3 games before the championship game. We went up to face a team up in Michigan that was an 8-man team and had some history, and I think they beat us 35-0. We were on our 3rd string quarterback,
Sure.
and I mean, new players that year, and they're under center like this, and they're leaning over, and I'm just sitting there shaking my head, thinking I did not prepare for this. So, but again, it was another experience of seeing, hey, we have to be able to know, with only 25 guys, we got to play multiple positions.
Yeah.
And we actually went into our championship game last year facing Duggar Union, and it would be our 3rd time facing them. We beat them the first time. We went down to see them. We had some injuries again, and we ended up getting beat by them. We were actually we had lost both our quarterbacks before the game. We were on to Aiden Muldoon, one of our receivers. He ended up getting hurt. And then our second receiver, Isaac Alexander, came on, and I looked at him. I said, hey, you got 2 days to get ready to play quarterback. And he goes, I'll do my best, coach. Luckily, he was one of our captains, one of our seniors that graduated last year, and he was fantastic. I mean, and again, going back to just the culture of our school, the culture of our kids, just the mindsets that they have, that they just want to not just succeed, but they want to play for their teammates. And he goes out there, and he was a pretty frail kid, and I said, look, if you're running out there and you see 2 or 3 guys in front of you, just slide.
Go down.
Just go down. I can't afford for you to go down.
I can't.
And, it was funny. I think he slid maybe 2 or 3 times, and then he just stopped because he thought to himself, nope, I'm going to keep running.
Right.
That kid finished with 236 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns.
Nice.
He converted a 4th and 12 for a 65-yard touchdown run.
Wow.
And he saved the day.
Yeah.
And he just, and again, he was one of those kids that played no other sport at Blackhawk. He wanted to play football his entire life.
And got his chance.
He started talking, he was talking to his parents about going to Snyder to play football back when he was a freshman, and they wanted him to stay for the values, for the school, the education, and so just giving him that opportunity last year was just awesome. And so we wanted to build off of that. That senior class that we graduated was awesome, and I really hope that several of them succeed at the next level. I know
Sure.
Victor Hoya, he's going to Ball State right now, and I think he's going to try to walk on. I mean, he's 6'4", 6'5",
Wow.
215, faster than lightning. He played on the basketball team last year, but I'm really hoping that he can succeed there too. So, but this year we are really young. We've got, I think, 9 or 10 freshmen that are playing out of our 26.
And you said 3 are starting?
3 starters that are freshmen.
Wow.
So one on the line.
Go to Blackhawk, kids. You can playing time real fast.
Hey,
Yep.
that's
So our varsity quarterback starting left guard and wide receiver. So, yep, we're going to be.
throw them right into the fire and let them roll.
They're ready to go.
Yeah.
So and they haven't held back in practice either. They're going against Johnny Arrington. They're going against Gage. They're going against Roman. They're really, they're ready. They're hungry. They want to play, and they don't care how old you are. They're going to go after you.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
How is it coaching your kids? You got 3 boys, and all
it's
3
been the
have
biggest
played for you.
biggest joy of my life, and probably one of the biggest headaches because I'm dad with them, and so that balance of being hard on them, not being too involved with them as the head coach, just balancing that and just really trying to.
Because your son had some yardage,
Yes, he did.
a lot of yardage.
And actually, he started out on the line last year in the first game, and we just kind of noticed that we needed a little bit more beef in the backfield, and
Coach got smart. So they're making a move, right?
so we put him back there, and I had no idea he even had that in him, and he actually surprised all of us, much like a lot of the kids did last year. John Overholt, our quarterback, he was getting ready to play center. And I remember the day that happened that I told him, I was like, hey, you might end up playing center for us. And he interviewed with one of the news stations, and all he said was, you want to go out there and hit people.
Yeah, I saw that interview.
And the next practice, he's out there, and he's a gunslinger all of a sudden, and he leads us all season, and he just does fantastic. I mean, and he walked like a quarterback from that point on.
It's all
he
mental.
just had that swagger to him, and at 6'4", he had the build to it, and we were so blessed with the players we had last year, and we're blessed this year. It's a total, with only 7 returning, it's literally just a complete restart.
He's like a JUCO, Matt. He has to start over
he has
every
to
year.
start
Start over. Yep.
Yeah.
So only 5 of them have played more than 1 year of football. I think there's about 10 or 11 of them that are returning. Last year was their first year. So I've got some guys that have never played before. Roman Mayer, he's played rugby his whole life, so
He ain't scared to get hit.
No, he's not scared at all. And actually, he's got some great moves when it comes to just ripping the ball out because he's just used to it.
Yeah.
So that's been a blessing. And we've actually gained Jalen Strong from the soccer team.
Tell him about that kick.
From last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Aiden was soccer goalie, starting goalie there. He's actually playing soccer right now up in Michigan. But he had some offers actually from IWU to go be a kicker for them, but he decided on soccer. But
I would have went to IWU.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So he's a really good soccer player too. So, and I think last year we just kind of randomly went to him and said, "Hey, do you want to come kick for us?" And the first kickoff he did at practice, he kicked it over the end zone. So I was like, "Yep, you're a cheat code. Come on over." And it literally was, field position is huge in 8-man. You have to be able to hit them deep because it's so wide open. And when you literally can just go to your kicker and say, kick that out of the end zone for me.
Yeah.
And he just goes and does it.
49-yarder, you said?
Yeah, we were playing Rock Creek, and we were beating them pretty good. And I think we had some from our second string in, and it came to be fourth down, and I don't even remember what was going on. I just thought, I'm going to get him a chance to get in here and kick a field goal. And I think one of my coaches came up to me and said, do you understand where we're at in the field right now? I'm like, wait, where are we at in the field? He goes, we're at like 35. This could be a 49-yard field goal. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, let's see what he's got. And sure enough, he kicked that as straight as an arrow, just like a soccer ball from the goal. And I think it cleared the crossbar by about a foot.
Wow.
But first field goal attempt in any game ever, and he just nailed it. And so we ended up sending that video to, I think, 15, and they put it on there for us, and he got a big kick out of that. So, and he was money for extra points all the time, and that was actually one of the big things for us at our home game that we had last year, where the side that we picked to go to first was towards the road, and we don't have any net up over there, so he was just kicking bombs over state. Yes. And we've got kids that are back there trying to catch the ball. I'm like, oh no, don't go across the road. So yeah, he was definitely just a commodity that you would never think would come out of 8-man Blackhawk football.
But once again, you're talking about Blackhawk Christian soccer.
Well, we just got another blessing in disguise this week. Elliot Zimmerman, who's on the soccer team, he's a junior. He's probably one of the best players on the soccer team. He was listening to Sam Myers, our soccer coach, talk about him kicking back at Belmont.
Yeah.
So, and he just I was like, oh man, that sounds really cool. So he came out the other night, and we were seeing what he had, and sure enough, he kicked it right to the back corner of the end zone. I said, can you do that every time? He goes, oh yeah, I can do that every time.
Yeah,
Like,
nice.
okay, you're good. And so we don't have any uprights up yet. We actually were able to acquire some uprights from Huntington North this year, but we haven't put them in yet. When they took down their old field, Craig Baum.
Okay,
And so I had him kicking over a soccer goal the other night, and sure enough, I think he nailed a few 40-yarders into the wind. And,
It's a weapon.
It's
a weapon.
It's
That's
nice
points, guaranteed
it's nice to
points.
have that commodity. So.
See, that's like at North. Dean Dorfler was our coach, and his son's at Leo now. But Dean would always go to get a soccer player, man.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
And this kid kicked all 4 years. Can't remember his name now, but all 4 years he was a kicker, man.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how accurate
Just
they are.
all Dean would say, show up one day, do a little practice with us,
Yep.
walk through, go kick off and punt, you're free to go.
Right. Hey,
Right.
Brice, you talk about facilities and that. What's the game plan moving forward? I mean, I know fundraising's got to be a big aspect of things to get what you want, but what are you looking?
Well, right now I would say, I mean, just again, like you talked about expanding, we have facilities that are aging. The ability to even put something somewhere, I mean, it's pretty far down the road.
Sure.
But one of the nice things is that we do have a community in Fort Wayne where you see teams that play other places. Snyder's been playing in Northrop for about 50 years, and just Dwanger up until a little while ago, they were playing at Concordia.
Sure.
So we have some really good relationships. Actually, our middle school team is going to be playing at Blackhawk Middle next door. So they've, whenever they have their away games, they've opened up their field. So our middle school gets a home field now,
Beautiful.
even before the high school. So
Nice.
that's awesome.
Right.
But it actually worked out pretty well even this year, watching, who was it, Snyder and Homestead play at Snyder this year, and it had a good turnout.
Good.
And so we had several people that went to that game from Blackhawk, and they said it was, a great experience. And so it's just down the road. That's not a big deal to us. And they've been really, gracious to us.
Like you said,
there.
Snyder's been at Northern for what, 52
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Coach Tippman has been really helpful for us, especially last year with the 8-man, just kind of getting that going. He was kind of one of the guys spearheading that, and just being able to use that as our home field even last year. But now they're saying, come on Friday nights, and maybe that's a precursor to them saying, hey, maybe this is the spot for us. Maybe depending on what they do, but
Because usually it's open on Saturdays.
yeah, so. I mean, I'm just excited just to be able to play.
Sure.
And wherever we play, people are going to follow. Blackhawk has great fans. And so they travel
That's
everywhere.
No brainer there.
Yeah. I mean, going down and watching, we had the
Like
opportunity
Joe, my partner, always talks about when he went down to Cincinnati to call that game. He said it was the greatest thing he ever did.
Yep.
And I think Joe's got 25 plus years of
Yeah.
calling
Oh
games.
yeah.
Games,
Well,
yeah.
it was such a this year obviously we had great attendance for being able to go to two different state championships, basketball and volleyball, and the girls were awesome. I mean, just seeing our side of the stadium at Ball State, just the sea of blue, and
Same in the state championship basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you see that on this.
Well, it's
TV.
the culture that they built over there. I mean,
Yep.
not only did the athletics, but the school. I mean,
Right.
the school and athletics play hand in hand, and I
Great leadership.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
I'll say that back. We told you about our pickleball shows, and Matt and Abby Brandenberger. I was telling them about I don't see Blackhawk being small too much longer, and because they're Matt's alumni, and they don't like that. They want to keep it. They want to. That's what you're probably fighting
Yep.
a lot of. They want to keep it small.
and that's okay. I mean, smaller is better for the classrooms, in that situation. And I mean, the ability to bring that type of education, also just the culture of Blackhawk, would be beneficial if it was more students being able to come in. And I think Blackhawk's leadership sees that, but there's also the flip side of there's nowhere else to grow as far as building wise. So, I mean, I think I'll leave that to the decision makers at the church and at the school, because I mean they're great, and I'll follow them wherever they want to go, because they take care of a lot of things. And Joel is an athletic director. I tell him all the time, I'm like, I don't want your job, because I don't think it's anybody else that could do his job the way he does. He's just all over it. And just the support that he's able to show to every program that we have.
It sounds like
and
he's
to
giving you
build-
great support.
Oh yeah, he's been amazing, and Principal Harmon has been awesome as well, and just the entire administration has really been behind us, because as we've seen, especially last year, just the schools that were kind of on the fence of being an 8-man and things like that. I mean, some of them didn't even have school backing,
Yeah.
and that's.
And you
I
got
can't
Blackhawk.
I can't even imagine trying to
Trying to
start
do
a
this.
football
Right.
program
Right.
without that, and so just
The helmets ain't cheap.
no, they are not. So, and getting them reconditioning,
Yeah.
it's not cheap either.
No, that's what we talked about on our remote we did with Carroll Charger. They actually do have great help from OPS and Dr. Russell,
Yep.
but it ain't cheap, those helmets. Because it's 5 years, right? You got to get rid of them.
Well, they have a 10-year shelf life, but then by about 5 years they'll start pulling them out
Yep.
when they start not passing their tests. So, yeah.
So, what's pregame speech for tomorrow?
Good question.
Ooh.
We going
Just-
Lou Holds or what?
Well, the biggest thing for these guys is make sure your Christian character shows through.
Sure.
And so, pregame speech is always you represent your school, you represent your Lord, and you represent each other. And just making sure that when they are out in the field, that they are exuding that to the other team. When I actually take on that mindset of, hey, if you hit somebody, pick them back up. Don't taunt, don't do anything like that. Prove it on the field. You don't need to prove it with your words, and just go have fun. Again, this is going to be a first experience for them.
Sure.
I mean, yes, last week we did a scrimmage, but just not the
who'd you
same.
scrimmage with?
We went to Union City. It was kind of a
Oh,
last
that's right.
minute
You
thing.
did a round robin deal.
Yep. We played them and Lincoln High School. So we didn't get a chance to play Westdale. They looked pretty good too. So we had a good time.
But they've been playing
Right, they've been playing
for years.
Yeah, we went in there. And actually the part that I
know
thought
where
we were going to be
Westdale
good
is.
on.
I mean, they've been playing for years. Man.
Yeah. I mean, the parts that I thought we were going to do well in last Friday, we didn't do well in, and the things that I thought we needed a lot of work on, we actually did pretty well. So, just the back and forth this week of really trying to nail down our offense and defense.
See, Brice, I tell the story. There was a school outside of Muncie called Monroe Central,
Yep.
and they're 7-8 years in now.
Yep.
And they had the same struggles you did because there's always been a little farm school.
Right.
And now through Muncie expanding out a little bit, they had enough kids to
Right.
start football, 1A program. But all of a sudden, here come a lot more Muncie kids, and they've really escalated their game quickly.
Right. Yep.
So that's what I always had in my head with Blackhawk. But when you explain 300's cap, 300's that's it.
Right. And, you talk about Muncie Central or Monroe Central.
Monroe.
Yeah. There's other schools that are going the opposite direction. I've just heard that, Traders Point is now dropping to 8-man from 11. It's unfortunate when you have those low numbers where literally one kid, can affect a lot of your team.
That's why I wanted to do this show, to let everybody know what Blackhawk is going through and what the head coach has to go through.
Oh, yeah.
And what the kids, the players, they're going to be playing both ways.
Right. And, even with, the expectation of having 19 to return, only having 7, it's not that they're, sitting down on their couch and doing nothing or anything like that. The community mindedness, the friendships that they have at this school, they want to do everything together. And that's great.
Yep.
I mean, everybody wants to play their best friend. And so, I kind of joke around, but, the tennis team is going to have a really, really good football team this year. So, but I think they're going to have a really good tennis team too. So, I think both of their matches have been rained out so far, but we're definitely looking forward to seeing how they play this year. And I know Will Guthrie, who I would love to play football, but he is a really good tennis player. He plays basketball. I think he's like 6'4", and I was looking at him today, and I thought, boy, is he still growing. Great attitude. I would love to see him on the offensive line, but he is also a really good tennis player. I think he was like 15-3 last year playing tennis, and he played doubles with Gage Sefton last year, so he is a big part of just athletics at our school, which has a lot of pride and tradition.
Sure.
And it's great. So, we'll get there. And that's the nice thing is all of our sports do well, and it comes down to a lot of good coaching.
Yep.
The people that we're able to bring in. I mean, my coaching staff has just been like, I couldn't even imagine. When I first took on the job, I was the only one at practices over the summer, and it was kind of weird. I'm like, am I it? And then just
Don't feel bad. Jason Dorfler has the same problem.
Well, out of the woodwork, Rob Bogle, he's a pastor out there at Central Ministries. He's been awesome. He was a wide receiver coach at Homestead. Really came on as my defensive guy last year, and really he took that over because I was doing the offensive stuff, and creating an 8-man offense out from scratch was pretty
backyard
challenging.
football, man.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun, but bringing in Kevin Kinnison, who was our head baseball coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
He played quarterback at
he
Snyder.
did.
I played pal with Kevin.
Yeah, so he was great,
Yes.
especially for Big
So
John
he's on the
Overhaul.
staff.
Yep. He was
Nice.
His ability to work with John last year, and now working with my son, who is the quarterback now as a freshman, just the way he's able to talk to him and really kind of galvanize, hey, you're good, but let's work on these things. And he knows how to talk. Not only just football, but talking with kids. He's just been around
Football
kids
has
his
always
entire
been
life.
with him. His dad was actually a assistant coach with Dallas.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a quality guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good pick up there.
Yeah,
because
good for you, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
then just Reese Barnhart. He's on the maintenance staff there, but he was a kicker at St. Francis and did special team stuff all through high school, and so just having his expertise and coming on. And then, of course, Ryan Neumeister, who was dad for one of the players on the team, but just his knowledge of stuff. He came from New Pal and down by Indianapolis, and so he's used to the big school scene of football, and so he's definitely all in. And
Yeah,
and
big
of course,
difference between New Pal.
yeah. But picking up Thomas Manier this year has been huge. Obviously, we were hoping that we were going to have a JV team, and he was supposed to be my offensive coordinator, just to kind of take some of that off of me being able to do more head coach stuff on the sidelines. And he was supposed to be the JV head coach this year, but with only 25 kids, we're not doing a JV.
No. No.
So, but he's really, it's been great just watching him work with those kids. He spent 14 years out there at Maple Creek.
And that's Brian Nix from Carroll Chargers gave me his number originally to get a hold of you, but then I saw you on Twitter, and I was like, hey, Coach.
Yeah, so it was funny. I was looking at that text message. I'm like, I'm not Tom.
Hey, Coach, I'm really happy you was our 24th guest. I really appreciate you getting out here telling your story, telling Blackhawks story. Wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, public service announcement. multi-sport at Blackhawk Christian.
Yes.
Let's help this guy out.
Come on, kids, get out there.
Let's get some guys out there.
He's got plenty of uniforms for you.
Yes.
Oh, we do. Yep, we do.
So I really appreciate it. But before we go, we do a rapid fire.
Okay.
And I'll go first. If you could have a cup of coffee or your beverage of choice with anybody past or present, who would it be?
My grandpa, who passed away a couple years ago.
Wow. Nice. You got him one, bro?
Well, I know he probably doesn't. He doesn't have time to watch Netflix. He's too busy doing his thing.
Are you a Netflix guy?
I'm a big movie buff, so if I get time, definitely not during football season, but yeah, I like to watch movies.
Okay.
What's your favorite restaurant at the Fort?
Ooh, that's tough because there's so many good ones. It might have to be Ziano's.
Nice.
Yep,
Nice.
I love myself some Ziano's.
I took Sonar there Friday.
I'll just say this right now: the 99 breadsticks,
Yeah.
99
Stuffed
cent
shells.
breadsticks need to stay.
Yeah, the breadsticks get you.
They are the
Stuffed
best.
shells and then the honey
Uh-huh.
breadsticks too. That was good stuff. That was good stuff.
I always
He
go
just
for the
perked
classic
up.
pizza.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, come out.
Sonar, yeah, you're coming out of funk over there, man.
I didn't know they had what he got because I don't like that fettuccine.
And one of the big things for them is they love veterans. They are huge.
Once again, thank you for your service.
Thank you. No, wait. When we were doing drills and stuff there in Fort Wayne, I'm usually the guy that's trying to look around for, especially for the soldiers, for just deals and things like that, and they give 50% off for veterans. So,
Really?
Oh yeah. So I'm like, hey,
We're going to Ziano.
Go either. It's definitely a good place to go.
What would somebody be? What is something about you that people would be surprised to know?
I don't know.
First thing I'm going to say, I'm trying to figure out you skating.
Well, my wife is a very good cook. My mother-in-law is a very good cook. So before I met either one of them, I was in really good shape. I played defenseman through high school and had a good time with that. Kind of talking with some of the hockey guys that are Blackhawk, just talking about how one of the greatest feelings is, obviously you're 4 inches taller on skates. So, I'm 6'1" right now. So you're walking through, you're 6'5". So I get a little bit of what Kellen's thinking right now walking through the halls, but just looking down at people, and it's kind of that good feeling. But yeah, I love hockey. Didn't get a chance to play high school football. Back in my day, I didn't look too kindly on homeschoolers playing football. They required us to, I think Norwell was doing like a block system back then, and they said that we had to go to 3 out of 4 classes to be able to play. And my brother and I were kind of looking at that and thinking, well, we might as well just go to school if we're going to do that. Sure. So both my brother and I were kind of on that track of graduating early from high school.
16 years old, man.
So we both were 16. My brother ended up going to Huntington University, and I went to Taylor University here in Fort Wayne. But we both went towards hockey just because football was no longer an option for us. So it was interesting, but now kind of coming back full circle, he actually just lives less than a mile away from Blackhawk, and we were able to. There was a couple of openings that happened for the junior class, and so my nephew Parker Bennett just became a student at Blackhawk, and now he's on the team.
Nice.
So now I get to coach my nephew, and so now they're going to be like, well, what's going on? There's 3 Bennetts on the team. Are they all brothers or whatever? So, yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting season, a memorable one for me. Just being able to coach them, the 3 of them, for the next 2 years, actually. And then once my son and my nephew graduate after next year, then I'll have my youngest son will be a freshman. So got some Bennett's coming up the way, but I definitely some more last names coming up the way to make sure we can keep the train on the tracks.
Once again, wish you the best of luck starting
Oh
tomorrow
yeah,
night.
absolutely. It's gonna be a blast.
Appreciate
I love
it.
Yeah, thank you.
Gonna be fun.
Hey, so now we're going to take a little break and get Coach off. Then I want to come back and do something with you real quick. And we're back. Well, that was pretty informative, don't you think, Matt?
Yeah, I wish them nothing but the best. I think Brice is a great leader of people, and I think that they'll get that thing rolling on the right tracks, and you'll see Blackhawk Christian competing for championships at some point. It's just the culture of what they.
It's gonna take time.
It does. Hey, nothing comes quick, but Blackhawk.
And they were blessed last year.
Yeah, and Blackhawk Christian with the environment over there, with the athletic program, and just the support that they have, from the community. Again, we talk about communities, and that's another huge community over there is Blackhawk Christian. That they'll succeed. I mean, they're gonna. Nothing's easy. It'll be ups and downs. For a year, maybe two. Who knows? But
maybe three.
But at the end, he'll get it rolling.
Kids each year.
That's a huge thing. I think, like I said, talking off air about getting Kevin on there on their staff will help, because that'll bleed a little bit of the baseball guys into the football, and again they compete and wanna do well for each other as students. So,
Sonar, can you pull up the pictures that Sherlyn sent you? I just want to give people a shot here of what's happening here at Speeds, and if you heard some noise on the show. But the courts are gone, man. It is empty. So the turf's out, and
this is the turf right here. This is where the turf used to be.
Yeah.
Way back there in the back.
back.
Yeah. I came here Tuesday to return the chairs that we used for the remote, and I was just shocked. I sent Joe some pictures, and he was like, oh, my.
And then this is the main here.
And, so here tonight, the hoops are down. They're moving, man. They are.
Yeah, they're getting it rapid. Hey, you know what? It's close to
and that's what it's going to be
being right there.
I don't know if it's going to be those colors, but that's what it's going to be looking like. And it will be packed again. And, Sonar, in your opening that you did, which was very good. Yes, Speeds is going to be back to being full.
Yeah.
And the weekends here are going to be full. And I wish nothing but great luck to them. Ace Pickleball, TK, Scott. Great people, man.
Yeah.
Great people.
Yeah, they're ready to bring it here to Fort Wayne to make things bigger and better for our community, and for this field house to be able to host
major
those. Yeah, I mean,
tournaments.
You get the tournaments in here, and then you might get some deals with TV, and next thing you know, you're on the regular circuit for pickleball. So, kudos to them for pushing it.
Yeah. Now, it's 8:13. If we can do this in about 3 to 4 minutes, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But Sonar, I just wanted to go over to thank our viewership that we have.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
I mean, we're over 4,000 views on YouTube, and talk about that, Sonar.
Yeah, we can't do it without you guys. I mean, at the end of the day, we need people to talk to. We need the community to gather around. We started this podcast in that vein, we need a place that is a town crier, this is what's happening around here. These are the people that you may see on the field, you may read about, or you may see on Channel 15 or something like that. What we want to do is we wanted to bring the community right here.
Give you more than a minute.
Exactly. Right here to your screens, your phone. We appreciate all the people who have engaged with us on Twitter. I mean, that has been amazing, having great conversations with everybody. At times, you even suggested where we could go, what people we could interview. I mean, we got called out last week for the Jamboree.
Yeah.
And, talking about that, Sonar, I mean, we've already discussed it, but we gained over that we're at 24 extra followers on Twitter.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys aren't the largest group in the world, but you're a passionate group, and that's what we wanted. We wanted to make sure that we could be a place that everybody felt comfortable to say, this is my community, and even if there may be some rough edges here and there, we all still love it at the end of the day.
And Matt, when I think I showed you these numbers, but when Sonar told me in 6 months of doing this show, We're in the top 40 percentile of podcasts.
We moved up because of you. We have moved up to the top 40% of podcasts, and that's nationwide.
That's huge.
That's as it's out there. Most podcasts don't make it to twice as many of what we've got.
You said
here.
it's 12 weeks?
Yeah, about 10 to 12 weeks most podcasts can't. And that's because you guys, the listeners, the audience, the community, have gone around and helped us get to that. Now, we'd love to keep rising, so share it out there, get it out at the 260 for everything. This is essentially our inaugural season. This is it. I hope we have next year. I hope we have another draft party. I look forward to having a Super Bowl party with everybody over here. We're probably going to run a couple championship games.
Oh, and that's
through the
another thing
brand.
out of that, Matt. They asked Brian and the board asked us to do the championship game.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's absolutely
I mean,
awesome.
call it. So
Yeah, and that's what it is we are here for the community. We wanted to make sure that we were a tool for the community, not just those people that say, hey, look at this, or look what we're doing, who we're connected to, or anything like that. This isn't a vanity play. This is something to galvanize around so that, I like that coach over here. Oh, he's got an interview. I wonder what my kid will be.
well, you
like
heard
with
Coach
him.
say when he got here, he said his phone was blowing up
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
And it's a way to, Brumby, I would know a lot of what you've been doing behind the scenes in the community if you weren't here every week telling us about it. That's what it's all about. Come on to the community, and whether you're on the show or whether you're just sending us something on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that, that's what we want. We want that communication to where that way when somebody turns around and says, hey, I'm moving into this community, or I'm moving from Carroll over to Blackhawk, what can I do? What can I expect? Who am I going to meet? You've met those people right here on this show.
And that's when we first talked about doing this show, my concept in my head was, with the guests that we've had, to show the younger kids what these guys that have became pros, that are coaches, whatever, what they did when they were your age.
Yeah, and it always came back to youth sports.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of sports, and how it just continues to kind of go in the same circles. It all had to start somewhere.
Well, I think we take for granted the people that show up.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. The
just-
people that
you're
show
right.
up every day, every week, the
Just like
11
him.
board members that are there, just like Coach Bennett.
He just got out of practice.
Yeah,
Yep.
He's got a game tomorrow.
He shows up, and we take that for granted. We say, you know what? This is the guy who brings the balls every week. This is the guy who brings the clipboard every week.
Yeah.
This is the guy that stays late and makes sure that the kids get back home.
Yeah.
That highlight right there isn't a 15-minute clip on 15 or
No.
a 15-second clip on 15. That's why we did this, so that we could highlight the people who, my goodness, if you didn't bring the baseball bats, then we wouldn't have anything going on right now.
Yeah, and just think about his day. It starts with a drive from Decatur to come to Fort Wayne to teach, and then to coach, and then you're trying to get back home, before maybe 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
if you're lucky.
His brother lives so close.
Yeah. But to come over after practice, take the time out to come over here and talk to us, and just kind of give us an inside look of what they're trying to build at Blackhawk. It's it's the coaching life, and as I talked to him off the air a little bit about just it comes and you put in so many hours and it happens, and then it feels like it's over in that amount, and then you're right back to it like 2 weeks later. Yeah,
exactly.
so again, thanks to him for coming out here and giving us his story.
Well, like I said, I just wanted to let everybody see what's happening at Spees. I want to thank you all for your viewership. We've gotten, in our walks of life, we get great feedback. Matt gets it, I get it, Joe gets it. We really appreciate it, and that's it, man.
Yeah, stick around. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks to everybody. This has been, this is a lot of fun to put this on. There's a lot of work. Sonar does a great job. Dave with all, his behind the scenes and gathering stuff. Denise with her outlines and Joe, with just the energy and passion of doing the job. And so it's been a pleasure for me to be on here. And like I said, it's a lot of fun to talk sports, but it's a lot of fun to bring the stories behind it.
And see, that's what, me and Matt's been doing this for years.
It's just called BS in the mayor's office, man. That's all it is.
He's the one that came up with
the
it.
barbershop, man. It's BS.
Well, also thank you to my wife, Sherilyn, for her time and support and dealing with me. So, Sonar, let's wrap it up.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks everybody for being here on this show. Remember that you can always find us at the 260. That's an O, no zeros in the 260.
The O, baby. I got the O tonight.
Right here. O's all the way. Thank you very much again for being here with us. Follow us, send anything out, send some message. Let us know what you think season 2 needs. What people do we need to go for? Is there a sport we left out? I know we got to touch a little bit of hockey today, but is there a sport that we left out? Is there somebody who needs that highlight that we're talking about? But thank you very much for me, Matt, and Dave, and everybody else behind the scenes. We really appreciate you being here. You, me, us, and them, we are the 260.
Yes.